Hello dear students, a very warm good morning to all of you and welcome back in our science session. So my dear students, as we know that we are discussing our lesson number 10, that is adaptations, how animals survive. So in that already we have discussed some points. We have discussed about the habitat, adaptations according to the habitat. Also we have discussed about the adaptations according to behavior. So in today's session we will move for the next one point from the same lesson, that we are going to see some more adaptations in the animals. Before going to see that, let's discuss one of the important and one of the new one point from our lesson. So let's see no more. Body temperature of some animals like reptiles, fishes and amphibians changes with the change in temperature of the surrounding. Such animals are called cold-blooded animals. Okay, so my dear students, there are the certain animals like reptiles. For example, we can say that lizards are there, snakes are there. Okay, also fishes and amphibians. Amphibians already we have seen, animal those who are living in water also, and those who are living on land. So animals like the reptiles, fish, amphibians, these are the animal having capacity or ability to change their body temperature. We suppose they are living in a warm water, then they are trying to maintain the same temperature according to their warm water. If they are living in the cold water, then they are trying to decrease their body temperature. Okay, so they can change their body temperature according to their surrounding, and such animals are called as what? Cold-blooded animals. So in short, what we can say, that the animal those who change their body temperature are called as cold-blooded animals. Now the next one, that is body temperature of some animals like mammals and birds remains the same irrespective of the surrounding conditions. Such animals are called warm-blooded animals. Okay, so there are the certain animals like mammals and birds. Okay, mammals means what? Those who give the birth to their young ones directly, or those who feed their own milk to their young ones are called mammals. So mammals and birds cannot change their body temperature according with their surrounding. Their body temperature are fixed, and that animals are called as what? Warm-blooded animals. Okay, so two important points, two new concepts we have seen, that is what? First one is what? Cold-blooded animal, the animal those who cannot change their body temperature according to their surrounding. And the next one is their warm-blooded animal, that is what? The animal those who change their body temperature according to their, those who cannot change the body temperature according to their surrounding are called as what? Warm-blooded animals. Okay, so my dear students, now we will move for the next one point from the same lesson, that we are going to discuss about adaptations for protection. So animals are hunted and eaten by other animals, so it is necessary for that animals to protect themselves from their enemies. Okay, so for that purpose, to save themselves from their enemies, they are having certain body features, some special features in their body. That special features only we are calling as what? Adaptation. So let's see adaptations for protection. First one is there, that is what? Camouflaging. So see these leaf insects. Okay, so we cannot recognize this leaf insect which is sitting on the leaf. Why is it so? Because it almost look like a leaf, so we cannot come to know whether it is an insect or a leaf. It means what? It get merged with the surrounding color, and the color of the animal's body is almost same, so we cannot identify that animals very easily, and that effect is only calling as what? Camouflaging. Okay, that's adaptation is only called as what? Camouflaging. Okay, and the animal those who are showing this camouflaging are called as camouflaging animal. That animals are called as what? Camouflaging animals. So the color and the shape of some animals like zebra, leaf insect and grasshoppers are such that they can merge with their surrounding, they can get blend, okay, with their surrounding. This is called as what? Camouflaging, and these animals are called as what? Camouflaging animals. Next one is there, this why this camouflaging is important, how it is useful to the animals to protect themselves. See, camouflaging makes an animal hard to see, so in its surroundings it is very difficult to observe them, it is very difficult to see them, and in this way they can get protected from their enemies. Okay, so this adaptation protects them from their enemies. Next one is there, that is chameleon. Okay, chameleon changes its body color according to the surrounding, and with the help of that it comes out, it escape from its enemies. Okay, so changing their body color along with the different color pigments are present in their body. So if the chameleon is sitting on the brown color leaf, then they are trying to maintain their body color brown. If they are sitting on the green leaf, then they are trying to keep their body color green. Okay, so how they can change their body color along with the different pigments. Okay, next one, Arctic fox live in the polar regions. They have a brown coat in summer. So during the summer season, these Arctic foxes are having brown color fur on their body, while during the winter season they grows the white fur on their body. Okay, they grow white fur in winters to merge with surrounding. Okay, so this is the first adaptation, that is adaptations for protection, that is what, camouflaging. Now the next one we are going to see that is what, shell and spine. So my dear student, observe this picture. What you can see in this, here is a very beautiful snail is there. So I hope that everyone has seen the snail. If you touch this snail, then what is happened? It takes all its body into this shell. Okay, why is it so? For protection purpose. So in this way, with the help of the shell, the snail can protect itself. Okay, so tortoise and snail have the hard shell that cover and protects their soft bodies. Okay, also my dear students, see this one picture. This is what, hedgehog. Okay, so it is having the spines on their body, and this porcupine and the hedgehogs have the sharp spine to protect themselves from their enemies. So whenever these animals are feeling danger, they are leaving their for these spiny hairs, okay, spiny hairs on enemies. Okay, and they can protect themselves from the enemies. Now the next one is there, that is strong legs. Okay, so animals like deer, giraffe and ostrich have a strong legs. Why? Because as we know, deer is the food for the carnivorous animals. So to protect themselves from the carnivorous animals or from their predators, they have to protect themselves, and for that purpose they have to run very fast. So to run very fast, they are having very strong legs. Okay, so with the help of the strong legs, they can run very fast whenever they sense any danger. Okay, and next one is there, what, poison. So some animals such as bees and wasps have the sting to protect them. Means what they are doing, they are biting us, they are releasing certain types of the chemicals in our body which we are calling as what, poisonous, and along with their bite they are releasing that poisons in our body. So they use their sting to inject the poison into the bodies of their enemies. Like that injections we are taking to our body, like that they are injecting something, their proboscis in our body, and they are releasing certain poisons in our body. Okay, why they are doing like that? To protect themselves from the enemies. Okay, so my dear students, here we have seen that adaptations for protection. First one we have seen about the camouflaging, then we have seen the shell and the spines. Also we have seen the strong legs, and the last one we have discussed about the poisons. Now let's see about the adaptations for food. Okay, so as we know, the different animals are there, and different animals food is also what, different. So on the basis of their eating habits, the animals are categorized into three groups, that are, first one is their herbivorous. Now herbivorous means what? The animal, those who eat plants and plant product are called herbivorous. For example, so many are there: cow, buffalo, deer, giraffe, zebra. All these are what? Herbivorous animals. So their food is what? Green plants or plant products. So to eat them, they are having the sharp front teeth. Their front teeth are very sharp, which is called as what? Cutting teeth or incisors, that we have seen in our lesson number 2. Okay, the front four teeth are called as what? Incisors, or also it is called as what? Cutting teeth. So the herbivores are having very sharp incisors for what? For biting, and strong for biting. And next one, strong back teeth, that is what? Grinding teeth or molar, to chew the plants. Okay, so their front teeth are very sharp to bite the food. Their back teeth, that is what? Molars, are very strong to chew the plants. Okay, so in this way, these are the arrangement in the herbivorous animals. Next one, carnivorous. Okay, like lion, tiger, wolf, all these are what? Carnivorous. So these animals eat the flesh of other animals, and to tear the food they are having the very sharp tearing teeth, that is we are calling as what? Canines. Very good. Okay, so for what purpose they are having very sharp tearing teeth, that is what? Canine, to tear the food or to hunt the other animals. Okay, so this is about what? Herbivorous are having incisors and molars, while the carnivorous are having canines, very sharp canines. Now let's see about what about the omnivorous. So omnivorous like cow, bear and human beings are omnivorous, and these animals eat both plants and flesh of other animals. Okay, now next one we will see, that is what? Parasites. Now what is meant by the parasites? So some animals like fleas and bedbugs live on the body of other animals and suck their blood. Some animals like tapeworm and hookworm live inside the body of other animals and get their food. So there are the certain animals, those who are living on the body of some animals or in the body of some animals. Okay, and that animals are called as what? Parasites. Okay, so the animals that live in or on the body of other animals, live in or on the body of other animals, are called parasites. Okay, so the animals from which parasites get their food are called host. Okay, so see here what we can say that, so these fleas and bed bugs are living in our beds, okay, or in our hairs, we can say that, and these animals are sucking our blood. Okay, sucking our blood, so we are the host for them. From our body they are taking the our blood. There are the certain animals like a tapeworm and hookworm. These are the animals those who are living in our stomach and in our intestine, and from our intestine they are eating the digested food. They are sucking the digested food. So we are the host for them, and on our body they are feeding. So the animals from which parasites get their food are called host. And what is meant by parasites? The animals that live in or on the body of other animals are called parasites. Okay, so this is about what? Parasites and host. Okay, next one is there scavenger. Scavenger means what? The animals, those who are not eating the those who are eating the flesh, but that flesh they are not, or that animals are not killed by themselves. Whatever the remaining dead parts of the animals are there, they are eating that. Okay, so the vulture and the hyenas are scavenger. These animals eat the flesh of dead animals. Vulture have a strong and sharp beak to tear the flesh. Okay, so scavenger means what? These are the animals those who are eating the flesh of other animals, but that animal is not killed by themselves. Whatever the leftover flesh is there, they are eating that. Okay, so they are what? Scavenger. So up till now we have seen the adaptations in the different food habits. Now next one and the last one point from our lesson we will discuss, that is what? Endangered animals. That is what? Endangered animals. So there are the certain species, those who are on the path of the extinct, so, and if we will not save them, then after some years that species, that number of the plants, that type of the plants will get destroyed from the earth. So it is necessary to protect the animals. Okay, so organisms can adapt to various conditions, but not to a certain limits. Sometime what happen, the surrounding condition become extremely harsh for an animals to survive. In this condition the number of animals starts decreasing and ultimately they disappear from the earth. So as we know that if we are showing the positive response to the adaptations, then we can live very easily, animals can live very easily. But sometimes what happen, for the certain level only, for the certain limit only, the animals can show the adaptation. Sometimes the environment is so much harsh and the animals cannot adapt themselves in that environment, and because of that what happened, the number of so many animals are getting dead at the same time, and the number of animals started decreasing. Okay, and after ultimately what happens, slowly it get disappear from the earth. So we are having certain examples like this. That is what? Dodo is one of the few animals that have already disappeared from the earth. So dodo is one of the animals those who get extinct from the earth. Now we cannot see the dodo. Okay, So what is the definition of the extinct animal? The animals that do not exist on the earth, means those who are not present on the earth now, that animals are called as what? Extinct animals. The animals that do not exist on the earth now are called extinct animals. Why? Because of various human activities like cutting of forest and build factories, houses and roads, existence of many other animals is in a danger. So see, nowadays we are doing so much progress, but while doing that progress, somehow we are disturbing the nature. We are cutting a lot of trees, number of the trees. Also we are cutting the forest, we are making the land plain, we are making the buildings for factories, houses, societies, and because of that what happened, we are destroying the habitat of animals, and that is why the animals are in a danger. Okay, so the animals that are in a danger and they are on the path of becomes an extinct, okay, means if we will not protect them, after some days it will also get vanished from the earth. So that animal, those who are in a danger, they are on the path of becoming extinct, are called as what? Endangered animals. Okay, for example, tiger and giant panda are the examples of endangered animals. These animals are in a endangered, they are on the path of extinct. So we are having one movement, that is what? Save tiger. Okay, nowadays the number of tigers slowly increases, and same for the giant panda also. Okay, so we should take step. Personally, what we can do to save the animals, we should take a step to conserve these animals, otherwise they will become extinct in the upcoming year. Okay, so this is all about what? Endangered animals. Okay, so update is given one. Due to human efforts for the conservation of animals, giant panda is no longer in the endangered category. Now this giant panda is not in the category of endangered animals. Okay, so my dear student, this is all about today. We have seen many points from this lesson. We have seen the adaptations in the for protections, adaptations according to the different eating habits, and also we have discussed about the endangered animals. Okay, so here on this note we have completed our lesson. Here we will stop. We will meet in the next video with the next point, and for today, thank you.